It is a hump day, July 23rd. The baseball season is hot and heavy. The NFL camps are in full swing. And we have a big announcement for you at the end of the show. Finally, after weeks of promising it to you, we will deliver on our promise because that's what we do around here. Interesting stuff going on the diamond. Some teams that we're going to focus on today in both the wild card races in action right now. Played last night. Couple of them, not the biggest and best 48-hour turnaround in as far as their wild card standings go. But full pack show for you today. We're going to try and move you along as quick as we can and get everything in there. Again, feel free to comment along if you're watching along. We appreciate you. Follow us on all of our social channels at Mike Arana Show. Everywhere but where, TJ?
That would be everywhere but Snapchat.
And por qué Snapchat?
Porque Snapchat sucks and we're not 12. I was trying to remember how to say that in Spanish, but I
was trying with you, like subliminally there. Vegas Mac, what is going on today, my brother?
Oh, not much. You know, Mike knows about this, but I got to start with. Let's start the show with a bang. TJ, I got to show you something. Ready?
Uh-oh.
Here we go. This makes it official now. When I show you this.
Just because we're on YouTube doesn't mean you can. Uh-oh.
Oh, Jesus.
He has committed.
It's official.
Folks.
I have committed.
All right. I'm glad that you've committed to. I'm glad that you've committed to Eastern Conference final losses and
hey,
a team that. You know what though? That's a really good pick. I really like them this year. It frustrated me to see them lose. What was it? 13 finals games in a row or something like that.
Right.
But that team I think has underachieved a little bit, and I think this is the year that they can get over the hump. I hope it is.
I hope it is. Bring the cup up. We'll have a celebration.
Those of you that have followed our show long enough, you know that Mac was a NHL fan free agent, and we went through 2 seasons of him weighing the pros and cons for how he was going to go. His Coyotes ripped away from Arizona. That's what happens when you have a dipshit for an owner. So Mac has been a fan free agent for years and years now, and there you go. There's our big announcement. Mac is a Carolina Hurricanes fan. Hey, that's not a big announcement.
We should play the brass bonanza in his honor.
Yeah, we will. We can definitely do that. Raleighwood has a new member. I'm sure they're happy to have you there.
I'm excited for you, Mac. I think
and not, here's the thing. It's not really a new member. I'm really kind of a founding member. I mean, because, technically, I was part of that original franchise, the New England Whalers.
It makes a point.
Remember before they were the Hartford Whalers, they were in the WHA, the New England Whalers.
Pucky the Whale.
There you go. Now, TJ, that brings me to a question for you because you and I shared season tickets in an area where the Fox Sports cameraman had to move because of the two of us several times down in the corner by the glass when the Coyotes were out here. What have you done with your fandom? Are you a fan still of the Utah Hockey Club, or are you just waiting for the desert to get hockey again? I don't think we've ever asked you that.
You know what, man? I tried. I bought some gear and I tried, but it was not must watch viewing for me. So, when I was in New York, I went to the NHL store. I bought a Clayton Keller shirt, so he could get 38 cents that he most definitely deserves. And then I bought a Kings shirt so I can go to Kings games and have something to wear. But I'm still just kind of watching, but it's nice because here's the cool thing about just watching as a fan of everybody is that you can be a little bit more objective in your viewing. And I just think it's hilarious watching some of these Utah fans going, "Oh man, Liam O'Brien is the greatest player ever." And I'm like, that bozo is lucky he's got a contract because of exactly where he is. So, or how, oh man, and Josh, when they made the Paterka deal, Josh Doan, man, why did we get rid of him? You got almost a point a game player out of it. Mm-hmm. So calm down there, big guy. But it's fun. We got to grow the game. It's cool, but I am pining for when Coyotes 2.0 arrives.
Now you can come on over to the dark side and watch the build of Team Teal with me and go through it. And hopefully this version of Team Teal can actually get the job done, unlike the previous version of Team Teal. That's for a different story for a different day. Let's get into some wild card talk. We're going to focus today on the wild card teams specifically the wild card teams that we believe are actually in the mix. And one of those last night dropped the game in Miami. That'd be the San Diego Padres. They lose 4-3 last night. And what did they do to follow it up today, boys? They lost 3-2 today. So 2 bad losses for the Padres. And I'm going to start with you here, T, because Mac and I talked about them a little bit more in depth yesterday. The Padres are one of those teams that is very interesting and very intriguing to watch as we approach this deadline here, because we know the current ownership situation is still in flux after the passing of Peter Seidler. And this is a team that is very much financially strapped right now, which is why you've got Dylan Cease and Michael King as pending free agents. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here to try and balance some stuff out. I personally believe that Merrill Kelly is on their short list, a guy that they could probably convince to come to San Diego, probably convince him to sign a new contract in San Diego. But this Padres team continues to, we had a comment yesterday from one of our watchers yesterday, our viewers, the Padres are mid, like the Padres typically tend to be at this time. And it's hard to get a gauge on them.
It really is. I get frustrated because, I have friends who are Padre fans and it hurts when they're disappointed once September and October roll around. But yeah, this team is mid. They don't scare me. I think they've thrown bad money after bad. And it's just, I don't know where they're like, I don't know what their end game is here. They don't really seem to be interested in making a run. And then you'll see them acquire, like last year, they acquired Dylan Cease, but they also, it's very confounding, this team. They got what they get. They got 4 players for Juan Soto, which seemed like it was a good deal. And then like, what do you do after that? Nothing. So the Padres, I don't think the Padres, if your team got a playoff matchup with the Padres, I don't think your team would be overly concerned.
No. And Mac, with that loss today and the loss last night, they are now basically behind the Mets by percentage points and everything. A few more games for the Mets. The Mets are also in action right now. They are up 6-1 on TJ's Halos in the bottom of the 6th inning. But, that brings the Mets back into that fold, Mac. And this National League wild card race is fascinating.
Yeah, 7 hits for San Diego last night, 7 hits for them today, but they're just not producing any runs. This is a team that, again, you look on their lineup, the lineup's not bad, but they still don't get the big production. T, I think you're right. They threw a lot of money at Xander, and Xander's not the player he was when he was in Boston, not even close to the player that he was in Boston. They don't get enough. I think, Mike, you talked a little bit yesterday about the Giants, how you thought with like Melvin and they kind of just like flatline. I kind of feel the same way with the Padres. Like I just feel as though they're a flatline team. Like they're just, there's nothing there. There's, you would think with Tatis and with the little elf man at third base that they would be, but they just, there's just nothing there that intensity. I can't stand him. But they don't. There's no intensity in that team. But there's no fire in that team. That's how I perceive them.
Yeah, interesting stuff out of San Diego. San Francisco fans, you're welcome, because apparently my fiery speech yesterday was enough to rally the Giants to cost me a couple $100 last night, and then they're following it up today by pasting the Braves again. Another wild card team we're going to pay attention to here. A couple of teams in the mix, Boston and Philadelphia. And last night, the Red Sox made history, becoming the first team in the expansion era since 1961 to commit a run-scoring catcher's interference in back-to-back innings. Last night, Bryce Harper attempting to steal home. Red Sox catcher steps in front of the plate, causing a catcher's interference, and the Phillies go on to beat the Sox 4-1. Mac, we talked about this, that the break is great for some teams and bad for others, and right now it looks like it was a bad time to slow down that Red Sox momentum.
Yeah, I don't know so much if it was the break or it's just the schedule itself. I mean, TJ mentioned it too. It's like, it's not like the Red Sox were beating up on good teams. I mean, they did sweep Tampa Bay, but we have to look at Tampa Bay as well, where they are. But now, they're playing better teams. They played Chicago coming out. Their schedule for the next little bit is really tough. I mean, they have Philly, and then they play the Dodgers. They're just playing better teams right now, and their offense is still on the All-Star break. The offense hasn't shown up. Believe it or not, their pitching's been great. I mean, my boy Walker Buehler, 7 innings the other night. He looked great. I mean, the pitching hasn't been the problem. The problem has been their offense. They just can't score runs.
Yeah, I've seen the same thing, and maybe it's like, here's another team in the Phillies that I still can't quite figure out. I don't know if they're gonna hang. I don't know if they're gonna have the juice to hang on and win that division, because they just got taken for 2 out of 3 by the Angels, and the Angels are hot garbage. And now you're handling the Red Sox pretty easily. You're getting good pitching now. This team is just kind of Jekyll and Hyde for me as well. We know what the offense can do. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together. And there's a long drive to left field, and that'll be a home run.
Yeah, and the thing is we know Dombrowski's not going to sit around. And I mentioned the 4 specific relievers that are on walk years in Iglesias and Finnegan and Bednar. And I'm missing the other one off the top of my head right now. But all guys that should be targets for the Phillies. Cincinnati, they dropped another one last night to Washington. They lose 6-1. They did bounce back today. That game has just gone final with a 5-0 win. Nick Lodolo pitches a complete game. We don't see those very often in the big leagues anymore. No. He goes 9, 4 hits, strikes out 8. Nationals not able to get any runs across the plate. Noelvi Marte with 1 for 2 today with an RBI. But the Reds and the Giants are kind of in that deadlock as the next team out, about 2 games out. I think they're actually both going to be even with the half game math here. But the Reds and Giants both hunting that final spot that San Diego is feeling the pressure on. Again, Cincinnati, another team, and I'll go back to Emilio Pagan's comments the other night after they took the series in the second game of the series against the Mets. Get us some damn help around here. And I think the Reds are very intriguing, because I could see the Reds adding a Gino Suarez or adding another arm to their starting rotation. And we know the future of their starting rotation is bright, but if they're going to get there, they're going to need a guy, Mac, like Chase Burns to really, really pitch well, with basically a dozen starts, let's call it, by the time this team gets to the end of the season. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a young pitcher.
Yeah, and then you get into, how many innings has he pitched. So young guys, they're always on some sort of inning restrictions because they just haven't built up to a major league season. So you don't know how much they'd even be able to use them come playoff time. But yeah, the wild card in the National League is going to be interesting. Like I said, the next week is going to tell us a lot about where teams really feel that they are. I mean, you hear a lot. the Reds aren't a team that you've been hearing a lot about, actually acquiring arms. They've just been kind of, well, you really haven't heard much at all about them. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do to help themselves if they do it all. And we talked about it, you hire Terry Francona, and you have to know, no offense to Tito, he's not in it for the long haul. He's not there for renovation purposes. He's there to try to get you to win and win in the next couple of years. So that's an interesting dynamic.
Well, it sounds like something I'm going to talk about later in football, to be honest with you. But the Reds, here's a case where they're beating up on teams that they should be beating up on. They get the Rays next, so that'll be a fun series. I think they get them at home, which will be a little bit of an advantage, maybe. But as the Rays go on their Road Warrior tour for the second half of the season, but now you're going to get a team that's more along the, pick on a team your own size. Well, here are the Tampa Bay Rays. That's going to be a good barometer for the Reds.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of Tampa Bay, last night they get the win 4-3 over the White Sox. They're in action against the White Sox a little bit later today. And the Rays, we've talked about the intrigue for us with the Rays is we want to see the Rays play home playoff games. So right now they sit entering tonight's game, half game behind Boston for that final wild card spot in the American League. The Yankees 3 games up. Seattle a game up, Boston in that last spot, Tampa right behind them, and another team we're going to talk about here in a second. But Tampa, for a while there, we were talking about, hey, this team looks like they could win the East, and then Toronto has just caught absolute fire right now.
Yeah.
They get the win last night that they needed to get. Tampa's another team that's kind of in the Reds position. They need to stay in the mix and in the race this year, Mac, and be competitive. But they're also going through an ownership change, which could maybe dictate what they do or don't do. We've talked about Brandon Lau. I think Shane Baz is another guy. If they do want to make some moves and clear some stuff going forwards, I think Shane Baz has pitched really, really well for them this year. Lau is in a position that a lot of teams need, and he brings some pop to the table. Tampa's a very interesting team to see what they decide to do, much like the Reds.
Yeah, and another name that's Yandy Diaz is out there as well. I have a sneaky suspicion Tampa's going to sell. I that's just a feeling that I have. Nothing to do with ownership or anything like that. I just feel as though yes, I just feel as though they don't feel confident. Usually when you start to hear Tampa wanting to get rid of players, there's usually a lot of fire to that smoke, and you started to hear it. They said people like tonight started. Taj Bradley might be available. I don't think they feel as good about this team as a lot of people do.
I think that would send a horrible message to the fan base, the team, and the new owners. I think that'd be a horrible message I would rather see them do nothing than sell, to be honest. But I can understand how you'd want to try and get assets, but this team's right in the thick of it, and I don't see any reason why they couldn't get into that wild card spot. So I think that if you're Tampa Bay, you would be hoping for anybody to come in, but if you're going into battle with the same 26 guys that you got, I think that's better than trying to sell guys off.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mets get
here's the thing.
Go ahead, Mac.
I was just going to say, Tampa Bay is not the team that usually adds on. They've made weird. I remember they got rid of Chris Archer. You kind of scratch your head when they got rid of Archer. And so, it's one of those things that they're usually not buyers. If anything, they're sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mets get a win last night. They are up 6-2 right now against the Angels. Brandon Nimmo and our guy, Big Meat Pete, with a home run so far today. Mike Trout is out, added a home run for the Halos. But the Mets are in an interesting spot, that battle for the East and that battle for a wild card spot. And they've got a little bit of an interesting part of their schedule here. After they complete this game with the Halos, they head out to San Francisco to take on the Giants, and then they follow that with the Padres. Then they return home for the Giants in their first series after the trade deadline. and then they have the Guardians, and then they're at the Brewers. So an interesting stretch for a Mets team that's been, and I think we used the term yesterday, Mac, kind of a topsy-turvy roller coaster for this team. They're right in the thick of things. They're right where they need to be. But we've talked about the pitching with them. They got Sean Manaea back, which is going to stabilize that. Alonso, Soto, and Lindor is in one of the worst stretches of his career from the plate. And that's how that's the straw that stirs the proverbial drink for the Mets. So good to see Alonso with a homer today. As far as our guy Lindor, let's see here.
Yeah, a couple of hits.
Yeah, he's 2 for 3 today. So hopefully that's something that gets him going for the Mets fans. But I think none of us would be surprised, and all of us are fully expecting this fact that the Mets will be aggressive to try and fit and fill their needs going forward. And I think the biggest need is they need arms.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting, couple of days in New York with that other team up there as well, the Yankees and the Mets. Like I said, trade deadline is a whole lot better when you have the big dogs. The Yankees need pitching, the Mets need pitching, the Dodgers need relief help, the Cubs are in for pitching. I think we're going to see a very interesting trade deadline. These next couple of days are going to be very interesting because those teams are starting. They need to position themselves. But I mean, coming in, I mean, I know we talked about it today. I mean, I looked. They had Soto, Lindor, and Alonso were 2 for their last 53 in the last 4 games. You can pitch all you want, but if those guys are 2 for 53, you can bring Nolan Ryan and Steve Carlton back. It's not going to matter.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Mets are going to be one of those teams that, I agree. I think they're going to be very aggressive. They want to get back to where they were last year. And yeah, you're right. I mean, watching the last couple of games, though, they've come back. I mean, it's the Angels, and the Angels are good at blowing leads, but they did show some mettle in coming back, especially on Monday night when they were down 4-0. So this Mets team they can be very exciting, and then they can be boring as hell and dull and 2 for 53 in their last 4. But today's the 23rd. We have 8. These teams have 8 days to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And another team that is rolling right now, 7 of their last 9, the Texas Rangers, and with Bruce Bochy has apparently traded even years for odd years. That seems to be his thing now. He's got a team that sometimes struggles to score runs, but has an elite pitching staff, and he got all of that again last night as Jacob deGrom goes 6, gives up 3 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts as they beat the Western Sacramento Nomads 6-2 last night. The Rangers find themselves now a game and a half out of a wild card spot, putting pressure on the Red Sox there. And Mac, we've talked about it kind of ad nauseum. The biggest head scratcher for us was the Texas Rangers, and it really, really looks like they're starting to find their groove. And I'm interested to see what Chris Young and company do at the deadline here, because it's a team that top to bottom is talented and they can get the job done, and we're starting to see them finally do that now. But I've never seen a Bruce Bochy managed team that doesn't have a alignment with the front office to go out and make. And I'll use this example because it was one of the key moves that the Giants made in Bochy's tenure: the Marcos Scuderos, the Brandon Morses, the insert whoever you want in that part. They'll find the one guy that they think they need that you're going, well, yeah, I mean, that's an okay move. It's a low level move. The Rangers, I think, are going to be very aggressive and are very dangerous.
Well, they are definitely dangerous. I mean, I love their starting pitching: deGrom, Rocker, Leiter, Eovaldi, Corbin. I mean, they got some depth in the bullpen. I mean, again, their offense is starting to come around. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, you're right. It's not going to be a big piece, I think, for the Rangers. It's going to be some small pieces to kind of fill in some depth. But I'll be honest with you. They have a tough stretch coming up. Atlanta, the Angels, at LA, at the Angels, at Seattle, Yankees, and the Phillies. That's going to be a good stretch for them to really see where they are. But I'll tell you what, I can't see us having a playoff this year without the Texas Rangers in it, some way, some form.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mac. But let's give Jacob deGrom some credit for the year that he's having. Like, holy smokes, last year he was complete non-factor, and this year he is tearing it up. So, and even in 2023, he wasn't that big of a factor. So, kudos to him, and kudos to the Rangers for sticking with him, because he's really put up some numbers this year.
Astros take down the Diamondbacks again last night. Bryce Matthews again goes yard and makes a fantastic play to end the game with a double play last night. I mean, this kid's the real deal. Expected him to be the real deal, and he's come up and been exactly that so far against the Diamondbacks. And Diamondback fans, do you now understand what I was telling you? Just because you beat up on the lowly Cardinals doesn't mean you're actually in this. And it's a tough spot to be in. And we just talked about the Rangers, a couple years removed from a World Series, as are the Diamondbacks. We know the Diamondbacks have the pieces on offense to, gain momentum and do what they did against the Cardinals. At the same time, and I've said it and I've said it again, it is malpractice for this team to try and buy. You need to sell your assets, get what you can for them. You got to revamp this entire pitching staff. You got guys that are going to walk out the door, and Geno Suarez can bring you a haul. For the Astros, Bryce Matthews could be that catalyst to keep a team with good momentum really going, man. It's been a lot of fun to watch him the last 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Astros just continue to get it done. I mean, kudos to the Astros year after year. Now good young talent, developing good young talent. They're just getting it done. Again, they're another interesting team. I know I said about a few, but this is another one. I want to see what they're going to do in the next 10 days. I want to see what they add if they need to, because I don't know that the Rangers can catch them for the West. I mean, it would take a lot, but I'll tell you, the Astros, I don't have the words for them. I'm amazed at what they're doing, and they just, and they're even missing a couple of their bigger pieces too. They just find a way to get it done. That's the mark of a good organization.
I hate to say it, but I agree. I mean, and the Astros were my pick for the American League pennant because of that exact reason. They just seem to find the right moves and get the right players to perform at the right level, and they just make it happen. So good for them. But going back to the Diamondbacks, yeah, I'm not going to blame them for the Naylor trade. I thought that was a good go. But yeah, they're toast, done.
Up in Seattle last night, the Brewers win streak comes to an end as Logan Gilbert locks up the Brew Crew. Cal Raleigh provides the offense for the Mariners last night with another home run, and a big win for the Mariners. We talked about it yesterday, T. I think the Mariners are sneaky dangerous here because they are loaded at the farm level. Jacob Mizorowski, 3 2/3 last night, gave up 3 hits, no earned. 7
All-star
strikeouts. Yeah. All-star. Mac, your Brewers dropped a game last night.
Okay. No. Okay. I got a huge issue with this game last night. I watched this game and I'm pissed off. Okay. I'm pissed off. 9th inning. Okay. Here's how the 9th inning goes. Contreras leads off with a walk. Yelich gets struck out. Okay. 1 on, 1 out. I got to make sure I get the right guy. So Cheerio, he walks. Brewers have 2 on and 1 out. Then Ryan, I'm going to mess up his name, Blakeney, the home plate umpire, takes the freaking game away from the Brewers. He's absolutely freaking horrible. Up at bat, Isaac Collins. First pitch, up and out of the strike zone. It's a fastball. He calls it a ball. He calls it a strike. Wasn't anywhere close to the strike zone. Poor guy's now down 0-1. Next pitch, It's a fastball outside. He calls it a ball. Oh my gosh, he got one right. The next one's a slider. It's further outside than the last pitch. He calls it a strike. It should be 3-0. This numbnut behind the plate now has the 1-2. Okay, next pitch, he's got to fight for his life. It's the only pitch of the 6 that was in the strike zone. He fouls it away. Next pitch was a ball. Next pitch, a slider. Now, here's the thing. Munoz is pitching. He's a right-handed pitcher. It's not a slider down and into the left-handed hitter. It's one that's coming around the outside. It never even makes the strike zone, and he calls strike 3. This guy, you know what? He needs a lot of this because he was freaking terrible. Terrible. How can you do it? How can you miss 5 freaking calls in the 9th inning of a game? 5 of them. Awful. This guy's terrible.
Max losing his mind like somebody that's got a freaking band on the Brewers to win the World Series. TJ, do you have anything to follow?
If you're complaining about one at bat costing you the game, maybe not you, Mac, but maybe the Brewers need to refocus their energy, because if I'm looking at this correctly, they got a grand total of 0 runs last night. So, it is what it is.
He didn't help.
No, I agree. And maybe that's a good case study for the automatic balls and strikes. The Mariners have always had the pitching. It's the hitting that has always been a wild card. Last night they got really good pitching and not a whole hell of a lot of hitting. It came through with a win. So I'm still not sold on them. I can't do it right now. I'm waiting for them to make some sort of trade that goes completely off the rails for them.
Half hour from now, Quinn Priester for the Brewers, Luis Castillo for the Mariners. We'll move through this last one here quickly because we got some other stuff to do. The Dodgers, their struggles continue last night as they lose 10-7 to the Twins, who are starting to get hot at the right time for them because they got a lot of ground to make up. This Dodgers team has lost 11 of their last 14 after being manhandled in the 6 against Milwaukee. I don't know what's going on, man, but like I said, when we made our bold predictions by August 15th, I said they would be tied at the top of the NL West with somebody. I don't know who. Maybe Justin Verlander's first win today for the Giants could be that. Maybe the Padres figure out who the hell they are. I don't know. The Dodgers are doing their part to fulfill my prediction. Nobody else is doing their part to help. Today we've got Chris Paddock and Tyler Glass now about an hour from now from the world's largest outdoor friggin' toilet, as my phone just doesn't want to shut the hell up right now. Oh, that's shocking. All right, Peanut Gallery. What's up with the Dodgers, Mac?
They're not good. That's all there is to it. They're just not good. I mean, you got 900 guys on the IL and all this stuff. I mean, you got I think I looked at Mookie Betts. Mookie's having an okay season. You have to remember Mookie Betts. Remember at the beginning or the end of spring training, he got really, really sick. Lost like 20 pounds or whatnot. I don't know that Mookie Betts has ever recovered from that. I mean, it's just he's not having a Mookie Betts kind of season, and he just kind of. The Dodgers lineup isn't one that you look at. That scares you. You know, you kind of think, they should scare me more, and they just don't. I mean, Freddie's had a good season. And Will Smith has had a good season, but the bottom of that lineup is not that strong. And then you know what? Like you said, I'm beginning to wonder about the Dodgers and pitching. Is it? They're acquiring these guys who have these injuries and they just can't rehab them right? Or is there something going on with Dodgers pitching that's causing this? I mean, it's a lot of injuries, and we saw another one last night. Gosh, I can't remember who it was. Help me out here, Mike. The relief pitcher, the lefty. Drawing a blank on the name.
Will Klein? No, not Will Klein. I know who you're talking about. I'm missing it.
Yeah, I mean, another forearm strain. So when I start to see that many injuries, I start to question the organization. Like, what are you doing to prevent this? And I know sometimes it can be nothing, and maybe it is nothing. I don't know, but they got a lot of people, TJ, on the IL from the mound.
A lot of
It was
arms, a lot of arms.
Tanner Scott. Sorry,
Tanner
Keith.
Scott. Yeah.
And you got Ohtani on his third elbow. Like, that's just a matter of time before that gives out. Let me throw something at you, though. The Dodgers are on pace to win 94 games. Do you see anybody else in that division winning 94 games? Because I don't.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So they're going to get it. They're going to get in to the playoffs. That's that. So they just need to get healthy and they need to get right. We're worried about a team. Look, I have no love for the Dodgers, but it would concern me as a Dodger fan because you've got all this money tied up in all of these players, and this is all you're like, this is all I'm getting is a 94 win team. It should be concerning, and yes, it is an alarming amount of injuries that the Dodgers continue to have with their pitching staff. I don't understand it either. So yeah, Mac, that's. If you just go down the list, it's just like, holy smokes, it's every dude. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And I think that's a great point, T, with them. And you know, this is a team that's got to get right by the end of September. You know, again, and when we made our bold predictions, I said I felt like with the way the Dodgers were playing and the lack of their offense at the time that somebody would catch them and at least put them in a tie by the middle of August. I didn't say that saying that I thought the Dodgers weren't going to come away with this division, because the two competitors to them in this division in San Diego and San Francisco, it depends on the day of the week, who the hell shows up and what teams you get out of those. Like, you know, San Francisco today, they get 2 home runs out of Rafi Devers, new first baseman Rafi Devers, for all you Red Sox fans out there. You know, what are the Giants going to do? I mean, the Giants have been linked to a lot of big free agents, and you know, there's rumors of Alcantara. You know, do the Giants have enough to get him? There's a rumor going that Alcantara and Cabrera could both be headed to Chicago for the Cubs. So, you know, Buster's in his first year of trying to rebuild the shit box that was left for him. He's got a lot of competition out there. So again, about 1:10 on the West Coast, a little less than an hour from now, Chris Paddock and Tyler Glasnow from Dodger Stadium in that game later tonight. Orioles, Guards, Red Sox, Phils, Yankees, and Jays, Sox and Rays, A's, Tigers. Those are your remaining games for today. Mets are up 6-3 on the Angels after the end of the 7th. Cubs are up 4, or Royals are up 4-2 on the Cubs, and who cares? The Cardinals and Rockies are in the top of the first. All right. As much as this terrifies me, Mac, it is your turn to drive the middle of the day bus. Where are you driving us off of a cliff today?
All right. Well, Mike, for you, I'm going to start with this. Listen, we have found out through this summer how much you love European sports. I mean, you were up at all hours of the morning watching Wimbledon. You watched the Open Championship. So I want to quiz you on, of course, one of the biggest European sports. And Mike, your first question today comes from the Tour de France. Okay, so here we go. Tour de France, question number 1. In what year was the first Tour de France run? Was it 1901, 1902, or 1903?
You're such a prick. 1903.
1903 is correct. All right, T, I'm not going to send you on that bike ride.
Stick that in your non-European pipe and smoke it, Mac.
We got more. Don't worry. That's just to warm you up. T, I know how much you like music, so we're going to do a little summer music trivia for you. I'm going to give you some lyrics and maybe an artist, and we'll see what we can do. But here's one.
Boy.
The name of this song is called Hot Summer Nights. It has words, for instance, it says, "You took the words right out of my mouth." Is the artist Bonnie Tyler, Bruce Springsteen, or Meatloaf? Hot Summer Night.
Hot Summer Nights.
What a trio
I'm going
that is.
I'm going to say it was Meatloaf.
Yes, you guys are on fire. Okay, Mike, back now to our Tour de France. What color jersey does the best young rider wear? What color jersey?
See, that's a trick question, because I would say yellow, but that's not for the best young rider. That's the race leader wears yellow.
Mhm.
Right. Best young rider wears a certain color. What color is it?
Orange.
That is incorrect. It would be white. White. All right. Here we go, T. Everybody knows that Bryan Adams got his first real six string in the summer of 1969. But who are the two guys from school who had to leave the band? Was it Johnny and Jack, Joey and Jason, or Jimmy and Jody?
It was Jimmy and Jody. Jimmy quit and Jody got married.
There you go. Nice. All right, Mike, here we go. Name the first American to win the Tour de France.
Steve Smith. I have no idea.
No.
Greg
Nobody
LeMond.
watches
Greg
that shit.
LeMond. Greg LeMond. Yeah. All right. Here we go. This is kind of
Trying
a
to think of
summer
the whitest
song.
name I could think of.
This is a summer song because the name of the group is called The Outfield. Okay. So here we go, TJ. Who is on a vacation so far away? Is it Jimmy, Jose, Josie, or Jason?
It's Josie.
You got it. All right, Mike, your last one.
Far away.
I was going to ask Mac.
Here you go.
And the next time
Your
Mac
last-
wants to pull this shit, he has to sing the songs.
Ooh, I like that.
All right, here we go. Last one for you, Mike. Color of the jersey for the King of the Hill. The King of the Mountain is what it, not the King of the Hill. The King of the Mountain. What color jersey does the King of the Mountain wear?
Green.
No, red and white polka dots. Red and white
Ooh.
polka dots. All right, here we go, TJ. Your last one. I need to know what kind of summer we're talking about. This is the title of the song. It's a certain kind of summer. Ready? I'm drunk in the back of the car, and I cried like a baby coming home from the bar. Said I'm fine, but it wasn't true. I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you. What kind of summer is that? And if you can, name the artist.
Oh my God, I have no idea. It's a wet, hot American summer.
No. It's A Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift.
Oh, Tony.
Oh, the only
Come
cruel
on.
summer is Bananarama. Taylor Swift, get that.
Getting you ready for football season. T Swift.
Are you done?
And your Kansas City Chiefs. All right. No, that's it, Mike. I thought you guys did great. Thank you so much.
Well done. Well done.
Turnaround is fair play. Payback's a bitch.
Well
NFL
done,
camps, guys. The Atlanta Falcons reported to camp today. Kirk Cousins came in with his new Coles getup for the season, and the Pittsburgh Steelers reported to Latrobe today, marking the final two teams to report to training camp, and football season is here. As I said in this morning's preview video, we are 8 days away, 8 days from a football game, kind of, between the Chargers and the Lions, the Hall of Fame game. Thankfully, we only have 3 preseason games for everybody, but a new football season is upon us. Everybody in college football is going through their media days, NFL training camps. Can we please stop with, oh my God, Tua Tagovailoa's first pick of camp was an interception. Who gives a shit? If you have nothing better to do with your time than flood our X timeline with pictures of guys throwing an interception to start training camp, get a freaking life, will you? That being said, it is here. It seems like it just ended when the Eagles smashed the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but a new season is upon us. That brings new optimism. That brings new hope. That brings the Florida Gators a murderer's row of a schedule this year, yet again for Billy Napier, but at least we have a quarterback this year. Lots of stuff. We're going to have lots of football stuff to talk about. George Pickens says that him and CeeDee Lamb are like Mario brothers in the Dallas wide receiver room. Glad to see George Pickens has turned into full George Pickens right away, guys. But as always, a new football season brings a lot of optimism. It brings, the biggest sport we have in America to full light, and it's a great time. because we talked about the Ryder Cup yesterday. Mac and I actually have some specific thoughts on the Ryder Cup that'll go out on our channel on Sunday. That we pre-recorded that, so keep that in mind when you see it. But you get the Ryder Cup at the end of the golf season, the beginning of the college football season, beginning of the NFL season, the baseball playoffs, and then around the corner is the hockey start, the college basketball start, and the NBA start. So a lot of fun stuff coming up in this. You know, it's the reward for going through the dog days of summer. And guys, I think with our three specific teams, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, and Las Vegas, there is obviously a lot of optimism in all three places. Kind of interested to see which is the last team standing amongst our three teams here. But, you know, the interesting thing, and there we go. What's up, Billy V? Taking the grandson to the old ball yard today. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. And he gets to boo Jose Altuve today. Always got to throw that one in there. You know, the new football season and the optimism that comes with it. And, you know, you get to the routine, the Saturdays, you know, 5 for 500 is going to be back. The Big Mac Friday night, TJ After Dark, the Sundays spread. We're going to probably try and find that nerd to do Monday Night Mike again, and a lot of fun stuff that we do here, and some fun stuff we'll tell you about in just a second. But I ask you, and I'll start us here, the most exciting thing about a new football season to me is just that. It's the newness. It's the new opportunity. It's back to weekends. It's screaming at your TV on a 1st and 10 dropped pass 2 minutes into the first quarter of the first game. It's the newness, the optimism, the waking up on a Saturday morning and game day and everything that comes with that. And that's the exciting part for me. Mac, what is the exciting thing of a new football season as we sit on the doorstep of it to you?
I think this year for me, beyond my own, you know, personal, the Steelers, the class that we had this year of rookies who potentially could make an impact, I think is kind of exciting. You know, Cam Ward's going to get a start at quarterback. I think we all want to see what Travis Hunter can do. T, I know you Ashton Genty, you want to see. I mean, there's so many players in this draft that I think I really want to see what they can do at this next level. That part is really exciting for me. You know, there was so much talk about them, you know, especially, you know, a couple at the top, Cam Ward and Travis Hunter. You know, let's see what they can do now in the big time. And that to me is exciting to see what these young guys can do, because it was quite a ballyhooed class.
Ballyhooed, nice.
Oh yeah, they totally were, and interesting to see what pick number 145 or whatever the hell he was, how long he sticks around too. But yeah, this is a class that they got a lot of attention for things that they did during this past college football season, or things that they might not have done, like Cam Ward sitting on the bench in the second half of the bowl game. But it's going to be fun to see that, especially Cam Ward, because the Titans, that's his team now. You're going to get your chance. You're going to get your chance to see how good he is right from the jump.
Yeah, because the Mayo man, Will Levis, is done for the year with a shoulder issue. So that's going to be interesting. You know, you mentioned a random pick number to some people that might not make any sense. As I sit here on NFL.com's homepage, and I've got a picture of old man, tiny hands, the Oos, and the aforementioned Shadur Sanders in a 4-way box. That is going to be, I think that's the other exciting thing for me. And these people that get like way too into preseason games always crack me up. What I watch for in a preseason game is new coordinators and some of the signs that you're going to see of their new defense, their new offense. You know, specifically, I'll use your team for example, T. I'm really going to be interested and looking forward to watching a couple of these Raider preseason games. Because, yes, we're not going to see the full team out there, but you're going to start to see a little bit of Chip Kelly's offense and how that's going to roll. And I think you're just going to see with the Raiders in general, just that Pete Carroll is infectious. Say what you want about Pete Carroll, but you're going to see an energy around the Raiders that we haven't seen probably back to Gruden in the Black Hole days in the Coliseum. Like, that kind of excitement. The Niners, they got their guy back in Robert Saleh, and seeing the aggression and the passion out of him. And some of the camp battles, I think that's also fun to watch. You've got a lot of guys that, there's a lot of veterans that are fighting for positions, guys like ETN. Is he going to be running back too? What happens there? Get new faces, new places. Here's one for you, T. Bears Williams sets goals for 2025, 4,000 yards and 70% completion rate. TJ, is he high, or are you buying that?
He's high. Look, I mean, I think they would be happy if they just won 9 games. I think let's start low here with overrated Caleb and work our way up. He's got a lot of growing up to do. I'm not convinced that he has done that. But let's see what happens, though. I'm going to give him an opportunity to prove me wrong. But when coaches and players start throwing out numbers like that, it's basically, one, this is what the media wants to hear, and 2, it's a bunch of garbage.
Why did he pick the number 4,000 to you? Because as we all know, the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard quarterback in their history. He's got the talent to do it. I don't think we can dispute that. But as you've said, bring it to the table.
Yeah, don't get your coach fired for doing stupid stuff on a Thanksgiving game. I think my feelings about Caleb Williams are well documented. I think he's got the talent. I think he's got potential, and that and $5 will get you a coffee.
Mac, I've got one for you that pertains to the AFC North here before we drop our big announcement, and I can't wait. I'm antsy over here to drop it out there. But Trey Hendrickson is reported to Florida. The problem is that's not where the Bengals are right now. Interesting dynamic for a very, very intriguing and competitive division this year. This Trey Hendrickson situation for Cincinnati is going to be really, really interesting because they've got the Shamar Stewart situation as well. Mac, higher by Trey Hendrickson is a Bengal on opening day.
I'm gonna buy that. I mean, I can't imagine that they would start the season without him. Things are playing well for my team. You can't get your guys in training camp. That's a problem at the beginning of the year. I mean, you don't see that problem with the Steelers. They make sure everybody gets in, But I mean, it's just not the way you want to start the season. Those are things that you don't want to affect the season. And if I remember correctly, did the Bengals play defense last year at all?
Not a bit. Nope.
Okay. And so you're going to take your best defender basically and not want him back on a team that didn't play defense? I guess they're going to try to score 100 points a game. I guess that's the only way they're going to be able to do it.
Maybe they should try getting Joe Burrow a new freaking wardrobe. Maybe they should start there. Hey, if a team doesn't play defense and you get rid of the best player, do you actually have addition by subtraction there?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Other training camp notes to pass along. The Green Bay Packers have a new cornerback, and he was a wide receiver for them last year. Bo Melton making the switch from wide receiver to cornerback. GM Brian Gutekunst announced on Wednesday. Melton had 24 receptions for 309 yards and a touchdown in 2 seasons. He's also switching to number 16, the same digits as his brother Max Melton, who is a cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals. The unfortunate thing, guys, as we go through training camp, injuries. Dolphins, Artie Burns, their cornerback, they believe he has suffered a torn ACL. So never something that we want to see, especially in the early parts or any part of training camp. James Cook did report to training camp and participated in practice for the Bills, despite seeking that contract extension. So a lot of this stuff will come out and keep coming out as these teams get in full swing. You're going to see a lot of guys who are just not participating. One guy who is participating, Stephon Diggs, full participant at practice for the Patriots. No limitations from his ACL tear that he suffered in Houston last October. That's an interesting situation there. The Patriots are an interesting team, interesting dynamic. Malik Neighbors working through a toe injury. He's there. Russell Wilson is the, quote, starter at quarterback, as reiterated by New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll. Obviously, we know we've got Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart, and Tommy Cutlets in that quarterback room. That, we talk about Hard Knocks and in the Hard Knocks in season and all that stuff. I would love just a 4-way camera follow on the quarterbacks for the New York Giants. That I think would be absolutely fantastic to see. And show favorite Cam Scattaboo in his first training camp with the New York Giants. We wish Cam all the best here. Can't wait to see what he does. Now, without any further ado. So we've talked about it for a few weeks. We've done the summer lunchtime series, which has been fantastic. The viewers and everybody that's participated throughout the summer, we can't thank you enough. So there's good news to this and there's bad news to this. The good news is we're going to keep the 11:30 lunchtime on the West Coast on Thursdays and Fridays during football season. The first part of the big news is we're going to do more live stuff because it's fun to be live and interacting with all of you out there. So during football season, every Tuesday and Wednesday night, we will be on at 5:30 on the left coast, 8:30 on the East Coast, recapping the week that was, previewing the week that's coming. It's also going to give us an opportunity to make sure we share the wealth with the other sports, basketball, hockey, when they get going. And then on, like I said, on Thursdays and Fridays, we are going to keep the lunchtime hour for our lunch crowd out there. So some days it'll be just me. Some days it'll be all three of us. And other days, we're going to have some rotating guests in. Also, as we are in training camp, that means we're in training camp, and it's time to do some previews and really dive into these teams. So tomorrow will be our last summer lunchtime show. In the month of August, starting on Tuesday, August 5th, we will take you through training camp tours, division by division, until we get to our season preview show on September 3rd, which is the night before the opening kickoff from the Link in Philadelphia, where the Cowboys and Eagles will play the first game of the NFL season. It is not that far away. So Tuesdays and Thursdays in August, 5:30 on the West Coast, we will go division by division, starting with the NFC South, which gets a lot of crap. And it's also the Bucs division. Or is it? That's something we'll talk about. So we'll go south on the 5th and 7th. We'll go west on the 12th and 14th. We will go east on the 19th and the 21st. And we will round out our training camp tours with the North, the NFC North and the AFC North on August 26th and 28th. Then we will transition, as I just mentioned, into September 9th. The first Tuesday after week 1 of the NFL season is where we start our regular routine going forward. I'm really excited about this. Every Tuesday and Wednesday night to be on, to be live, to cover everything that happened the week that was, the week before. Obviously, as we get later into the college football season, Tuesday's the day that the rankings come out, so we'll get to react as they happen to those. And again, we're keeping the lunchtime hour on Thursdays and Fridays. Guys, that's something we've been working on for a long time, Mac, and I know it's something that we're all excited about. Share your thoughts for the new direction of the show as we enter another football season here. I know I'm jacked about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's a lot of fun. I can't wait. Again, it's like opening up a new door for us, and that's what we love. We love opening up doors because we never know what's going to be behind. There's always surprises.
More live content. That's what was asked of us, and what our followers, and we've had some followers since the first video we ever posted on this channel was when Aaron Rodgers was in his darkness retreat a few years back. I remember because I didn't have anywhere to really do it. I didn't have a tripod, so I used 2 of our kitchen stools, and I was sitting on the floor of our apartment in front of a door. Since then, the show has moved into like 4 or 5 different houses amongst the three of us. We've dealt with connection issues. We've dealt with everything. There's exciting times for us going forward here, man.
It is exciting. It's so exciting that I might jump off a raft as we reveal this announcement, like some doofus did during the Browns helmet reveal.
Yeah, no shit. So again, we got a show tomorrow. It'll just be me and T tomorrow. We're going to take a look at some futures in college football and the NFL, give you some of our advice and tips on betting futures. And then we'll take a week off, and August 5th, we'll start our training camp tours. Those will be every Tuesday and Thursday in August at 5:30 on the West Coast. And then September 9th is when we roll out our new schedule, Tuesday and Wednesday nights, Thursday and Fridays at lunchtime. So we will keep you apprised of that. Again, follow us on all of our social channels during our break and our time off as we're doing these. Our content will still go across all those channels in its normal place and normal fashion. Now, let's get to some business. We started the second half of the season with dollar dingers, and we were 2-1. We've busted Max chops enough for Brian Reynolds, and that ship has sailed. It has sailed so bad that we're now 2-4 because we went 0-3 last night.
I've
no
forgotten all
Stanley,
about it.
no Walker, no Bryce. So 2-4. Friday we'll get a chance to redeem ourselves there. Liquid locks last night, 3-2 on the night. Jacob deGrom and Max stupid pitcher out bet that drives me crazy. DeGrom went over 17.5 outs last night. The Yankees won for me. The Twins won for me. And the Braves got their asses kicked for the first of 2 days in a row by the Giants. Didn't cost me anything. Thanks a lot, San Francisco. You're welcome, San Francisco, because I showed the fiery, passionate speech that got the Giants rolling here. And then TJ went over in the Boston-Philly game. He should have went over on catcher's interference calls because we did not quite get to 8.5 runs there. That being said, it's another day and another opportunity for Liquid Locks, and I'm going to get us started. I'm going to go back. See, yesterday I got greedy, and I went to 3, and it cost me. So I'm going back to what gave me a perfect week a couple of weeks ago. I'm taking the Toronto Blue Jays on the money line. They're the way they play against the Yankees is ridiculous. I know the Yanks got the win last night, but I'm going with the Jays on the money line and the White Sox and the Rays over 9. So those are my 2 for today. Jays money line, White Sox and Rays over 9. TJ, give me the Liquid Lock.
I've got an afternoon and an evening one for you. I've got this afternoon in about 30 minutes or so. Minnesota and the Dodgers over 8.5 because the Dodgers pitching is suck. And then I've got this later this afternoon. I've got the Nomads and the Rangers over 8.5 because it's hot in Texas and the ball flies out of there. Like I got nothing.
Nomads, as coined by our loyal listener and follower, RJ, the computer geek, which RJ has not made an appearance today. That's a little weird. We'll check on RJ. Make sure everything's good. He was specifically excited for our announcement. So hopefully we'll see him pop in tomorrow. Vegas Mac, the man that we created Liquid Locks for, I'm sure has got some pitcher thing churning in his dome up there. So what pitcher out total are you going after today?
Well, we're gonna start with Patrick Corbin. We're gonna start there, and we're gonna take Patrick Corbin for over 4.5 strikeouts. That's where we're gonna start.
Okay.
Oh my God!
All right,
I can do that. I can deal with that.
You didn't do it.
All right, here we go. Oh no, here we go.
Oh God, here we go.
Here we go. We're gonna go to George M. Steinbrenner Field, the White Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. Bless you. Taj Bradley pitching tonight for Tampa. We are going under 17.5 outs. Under 17.5 outs. Taj Bradley. Yes, we're playing the under tonight.
I like that kind of party.
Relying heavy on the offense of the Chicago White Sox. Interesting.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Let's see if it pays off for you. End of the 8th, Mets 6, Angels 3. End of the 5th, Royals smacking the Cubs around again at Wrigley, 6-2. The Royals are up on the Cubs. Rocks 3-0 up on the Cardinals in the second. The game that Billy V's at with his grandson as he checked in from the Stros and the D-backs in the top of the first inning right now. Brandon Pfaadt on the mound for the D-backs. Brewers and Mariners just got underway. 2 outs in the first there. Castillo already has 1 strikeout. And then the Dodgers and Twins will be coming up in about 25 minutes or so. The rest of the schedule is tonight. So again, show tomorrow. And then we're going to take a well-deserved week off, rest and recover. And we get into August. Tuesdays and Thursdays for the month of August, we will do our NFL previews. And then again, as we mentioned today, our big announcement, more of us, more live throughout the year. That'll get started on Tuesday, September 9th, which is the Tuesday after the completion of week 1 of the NFL season. And I'm sure TJ's going to have a lot to talk about in Caleb Williams' Monday Night Football week 1 debut for this season. Hell, he might throw for 4,000 yards that game alone. Let me ask you guys a question before we bounce on up out of here. And Mac, you alluded to this. The crop of young players coming in this year, and we know it's Cam Ward's team in Tennessee. Let's go to the crop of young quarterbacks for last year. We know what Jaden Daniels did. Bo Nix was very impressive. J.J. McCarthy missed the entire season, and we go throughout the list. Michael Penix, it's his team in Atlanta, at least it appears to be. Mm-hmm. The obvious is Jaden Daniels is going to continue to ascend. But what quarterback out of that group do you have the most confidence in having a big year this year? Because you could play this one of 2 ways. You can look at Jaden Daniels and go, really, there's no way that he could complete a second season like that. Maybe some regression. But I'm interested out of those 4 guys. And McCarthy's kind of the wild card because we don't really know a ton about him because he missed the entire season. So which of those 4 quarterbacks do you have the most confidence in having a great year for their particular team this year? I'll start with Mac.
Man, that's a good question. I think you know what? I think Bo Nix. I think he's going to take that extra step. I mean, I think there's been I think he's in such a good system. He's with such a good coach. I think they, in a lot of ways, protected him a little bit last year. I think this is going to be a year that they're going to open up that playbook for him. They put a little bit more around him. I think he's going to have a really, really big year. I think it's going to be a big year for Bo.
T.
I agree with Mac. I think Bo's going to have a big year. I'm looking for a little bit of regression from Daniels, especially depending on what happens with this whole McLaurin thing. I'm interested to see what McCarthy has because, like you said, we didn't see him at all, and they pretty much just gave him the reins and said, "You're guy. You're our guy now." So that will be interesting because the Vikings were dang good last year, and we'll see if it was Darnold or if it's the system when they put in another guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And plenty of that to talk about. Again, our NFL previews will be every Tuesday and Thursday in August. Our new layout of shows Tuesday through Friday will begin on September 9th, the Tuesday after week 1. So we're excited to bring it to you. Mike versus Matt coming up a little bit later today. TJ's got some thoughts for tomorrow. And then again, tomorrow on the show, it'll be me and T, and we'll look into the future and see what the future holds. I am going to go think of my next game to pin on freaking Mac the next time we do one of these, which will be September 9th on our first show in our new format during football season. I might flip it and throw Wimbledon trivia on Mac. So for everybody behind the scenes, for those of you out there watching, some of you watching at baseball stadiums, we appreciate y'all. For Tony James, for Vegas Mac, and Mike, we'll talk to you tomorrow.